Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Rebecca. I'm with the Greater Clean Chamber of Commerce. Yesterday, we had the privilege of speaking to Jesse Bro from First National Bank Texas and Alicia Perkins with our Business Resource Center. And they both did a fantastic job. Jesse really just walked us through the process of what a small business is going to need to do to start filling out those forms. What forms do they actually need? They're really don't need to be as confusing as what it appears to be. He really took the time to look at those. So what we're doing now is really a follow-up to that previous webinar. So watch this first. We're going to give you a couple updates so that when you look at the forms, you say, ooh, this isn't exactly what Jesse said. You can know that there were changes. We understand this is a fluid thing. The SBA is going to be constantly updating their website and their forms. We hope to keep you as informed as possible. So we're not going to go back through all of that again, just a real quick, here are the changes and the things that you need to know before you jump into the forms while you're doing the other webinar. So Jesse Bro with First National Bank Texas, thanks so much for being here with us again today, especially on a Friday afternoon, Jesse. Can you just jump right in and tell us what's different even from yesterday? What do the small businesses need to know?
Yeah, thanks again, Rebecca. I appreciate, again, the opportunity to get the word out and let everyone know what's going on. I think, like Rebecca, you said, we said that there were a lot of changes happening on a daily basis, and as an example, we're back again to provide an update. So we like Rebecca said, we did go through quite a bit of information in the first video, and then of course the next day things changed. So we are I'm gonna do this, share my screen and go through just a real quick review of some things that have changed. Overall, there's not a whole lot of differences with the actual application itself. It's just they're doing it a slightly different way now, and so I'm going to go ahead and get right into this. Give me one moment and I'll get my screen shared here. And can you see that, Rebecca? Okay. So,
yes, we sure can, Jesse. Looks good.
Great. Okay, so what I've done here is I've gone out to the actual website of where anyone that's looking to apply for this economic injury disaster loan needs to go. I'm going to type it in again one more time just so everyone has that information. It's www.sba.gov/disaster. You might have heard of some different links to get there, but this is the one that is probably the most common. And as long as it takes you to this page here, this is really where you need to be. And you'll see here right at the very front and center, we've got disaster assistance, apply for assistance. You'll click on that button. You'll come to our page here where we need to go ahead and click on the blue Apply Online button. And the previous video had where you had to register and start going through the electronic application. What they're doing now is you are going to complete the business forms that they have attached below here. And you will complete those forms, and then if you scroll down, you will see a place where you can upload those documents. So slightly different, but really it's a lot of the same information. What you'll see here is for the economic injury disaster loan, there are three main forms here, and the first one is the business loan application form 5. The second one is the home or sole proprietor loan application. And if you remember from our first video, we kind of went through the sole proprietor loan application, which was number 2 there. You should only have to complete either 1 or 2. If you have a sole proprietorship, you'll go right to number 2. If you have anything other than a sole proprietorship, a corporation, an LLC, for example, that would be number 1 that you would complete. You go ahead and let's just go ahead and open number 1 just to show people what that looks like. It's basically all of the same information you were typing in before. Now you'll just type it directly on this application form. Same information that we discussed of what you would need to provide. You'll answer the questions. You'll type in your signature and go ahead and fill that out. And then go ahead and save that on your computer. Once you have that saved, like I said, you'll go back to this page. you'll click here to upload it, and you'll upload it straight from where you saved it on your computer. So again, that would be either doing number 1 or number 2, depending on what type of business you have. The next thing you'll do is number 3, which again, we went through this in the first video, but this is the same form that you'll need to complete. Again, you can do it all through typing on your computer or iPad or whatever device you're using. Save it on that, and then go ahead and upload that back to the website. Now, there are some additional forms that says that an SBA loan officer may ask you to provide. Right now, I think it's really important for businesses to just get their application in. And, once that SBA loan officer contacts them, you can go through some more details. I would recommend, of this list here, if you want to kind of take the next step and be extra prepared, I would recommend completing the personal financial statement. I would recommend completing the request for transcript of tax return. And I would also recommend the schedule of liabilities. These are forms that we talked about in the first video, and although they are in the list here of additional items that may be requested, because they were in the first video, I would expect that an SBA loan officer, of all these forms, these might be the main ones that would be commonly requested. So again, not anything that you need to immediately send to them, but if you want to kind of take the next step and be ready once a loan officer contacts you, you might want to take a look at those. And again, the first video did provide some instructions on how to complete each of those forms. So feel free to go back and look at that as well. And if you guys have any questions, we can certainly we can certainly look to maybe provide an updated video that can walk through any specifics of that. But really, this is really everything that has been updated. As far as the information about the loan program, nothing has really substantially changed. All the eligibility and everything is still the same. It's just how they are accepting applications is slightly different than what we went through on our first video. So I would go ahead and get these done, and again, get it submitted as quickly as possible so that you can get your place in line. Applying for these loans does not mean that you actually have to accept them, but it at least gets your place in line so that when the time comes and when they get back to you, you can, at that point, you can determine if you need those funds right away. So that's really all I have for updates right now. Again, like Rebecca said, as we hear more and we've been hearing updates on a daily basis, I expect that to continue into next week. But if there are any major changes or updates, we'll be sure to let you know. And I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Rebecca. If there's any questions that you have or anything that I haven't addressed, feel free to let me know.
Thanks, Jesse. Alicia is actually listening right now, and she wanted to just clarify a couple things, which I think you hit beautifully at the end. She asked, does the business owner need to register at this time or just complete the application? You're really recommending don't just fill out the application. Go ahead and send it in. Get your place in line. When they get to you, you don't have to accept the funds at that time if you don't want to. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's correct. Go ahead and get that submitted. I know I've had some questions asking, how much of the application do I have to complete? Well, do as much as you can. Fill it in as to the best of your ability. The SBA officer, I'm sure, is going to have follow-up questions for you. So, do as much as you can, and don't feel like because you missed something that they're automatically going to deny you. They're getting a lot of applications from business owners that have large businesses all the way down to small businesses. So there's no one that's going to have the perfect application, but the main thing would be getting it in and then expecting a phone call or some sort of contact information from that SBA person.
Fantastic. Jesse, we actually did a webinar just a little bit earlier today with our president of the chamber, John Crutchfield, and with State Representative Brad Buckley. They talked a lot about this phase 2, how quickly they're trying to get funds out, what the interest rate is, all of those kinds of details as well. They also talked about, if hopefully gets passed today, a phase 3 option that's available. So those of you who are watching, you're definitely going to want to check out the webinar that Jesse and Alicia did just yesterday. but you're also going to want to check for the one we titled it How Small Businesses Are Surviving the Coronavirus. That's full of great information as well. So Jesse, thanks again so much for being on here, providing us all of your wisdom. We look forward to reaching back out to you again if things change and providing that to everybody. Really appreciate your help today.
Sounds great, Rebecca. I'm glad I could be of assistance.
Thank you.